And here is the Writer's Almanac for Friday, March the 27th, 2020. It's the birthday of the French novelist Henri Murger, born in Paris, 1822, famous for his book Scènes de la vie bohème, a fictionalized account of his own experiences as an impoverished writer living in the Latin Quarter, Paris's left bank. It became the basis for Puccini's opera La Bohème, the character of Rudolfo, based on Murger himself. It's the birthday of Patti Smith Hill, born in Anchorage, Kentucky, 1868, a kindergarten teacher. It was she who wrote Happy Birthday to You, and her sister Mildred wrote the melody. And it was on this day in 1912, the wife of President William Howard Taft and the wife of the Japanese ambassador planted the first of the cherry trees in Washington, D.C., around the tidal basin. And today is the birthday of the poet Louis Simpson, born Kingston, Jamaica, 1923, moved to New York City as a teenager. He served as a combat infantryman in some of the most intense fighting of World War II in Normandy and Arnhem, the Battle of the Bulge. Returned home suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, spent 6 months in a psychiatric hospital. His first book of poems, The Aravistes, published just a few years later. It was on this day, 1915, the woman known as Typhoid Mary was put into quarantine in a cottage in the Bronx. Mary Mallon, she was about 40, working as a cook in New York City, and every household she worked at came down with typhoid fever. Typhoid was common on battlefields. It may have killed more than 200,000 soldiers during the Civil War, but it was rarely seen in the wealthy households where she worked. In 1906, a doctor named George Soper noticed this strange pattern of outbreaks in wealthy homes, interviewed the families, found that they had all hired the same cook, and he finally tracked her down. Mary Mallon did not take it well when he asked her to provide a stool sample. She threatened him with a meat cleaver. He called the police, had her arrested. A stool sample was taken from her by force, and they discovered typhoid bacteria in her gallbladder. She admitted that she never washed her hands when she was cooking. They kept her in quarantine. She was released. She changed her name. She took up cooking again. She spread disease and death in her wake until they finally caught up with her again on Long Island, imprisoned her in the Bronx for the rest of her life, and she died of pneumonia in 1938. And it's the birthday of Julia Alvarez, born New York City, 1950, grew up in the Dominican Republic, came back to New York when she was 10, author of books about being caught between two cultures. Her novel, How the Garcia Girls Lost Their Accents, came out in 1991. Also wrote a nonfiction book, Once Upon a Quinceañera, about the tradition of throwing elaborate 15th birthday parties for young Latina women. Here's a poem by Wendell Berry, Look It Over. I leave behind even my walking stick. My knife is in my pocket, but that I have forgot. I bring no car, no cell phone, no computer, no camera, no CD player, no fax, no TV, not even a book. I go into the woods. I sit on a log provided at no cost. It is the earth I've come to, the earth itself, sadly abused by the stupidity only humans are capable of, but, as ever, itself, free, a bargain. Get it while it lasts. A poem by Wendell Berry, Look It Over, from his new collected poems published by Counterpoint and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.